Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pachanini Nivasesha Sunjavadi Paskaja Disitari. I'd like to thank the organizers of this fest. This is one of the best festivals I've ever been attended. And I'd like to thank Gopal Krishna Maharaj in particular, because I remember that when my wife and I first came to India, he engaged us in the service of Krishna Balaram Mandir. When the temple was newly opened, they had boxes and boxes of brochures, and they had no guests. And the guest house was meant to support financially the temple. So Gopal Krishna Maharaj sent my wife and I to Delhi and Agra to visit all the travel agents, and unbeknown to me, then later in my devotional career I would become an ISKCON travel agent. But in any case, Prabhupada wanted that when foreigners, in particular devotees, come to India, that they weren't discouraged by, very basic accommodation. They used to have these, I don't know the name of it, but they used to have these kind of very basic beds with kind of like a rope, cot, choki. And we used to, when we first came to Vrindavan, in some of the dharmshalas, that's all you could get, it was like a cot. And they were very uncomfortable. I mean, they could support the weight of your body. In any case, so, in looking back, what Surabi and the crew had done here was even in those days, 1975, that was luxury. What was here, Krishna Balaram Mandir, the standard was luxury compared to anything around this area. So my service at that time was to propagate and try and get customers to come and stay to support the temple, because there was a lot of outstanding bills. I can't even imagine what it would cost to run this, and what to speak of this festival. How much would it cost to, maintain this festival? So we have to look back in history, and if we go right back to the early days of ISKCON, and we can see the pioneering devotees, we have to really understand the austerity and the pain that devotees went through in the very early days. As Prabhu Vishnu was saying, that the manna, even it was given on a plate, but still the bailiffs came to try and repossess things to cover the debts that they had occurred. So when we look back in history, and we have to, sometimes new devotees, they don't understand why older devotees reminiscent, and why we place a lot of importance on these type of functions. And they're very important. These functions, they're not only important for the future generations, but for us, Prabhupada disciples, now we're 40 years down the line since this temple was inaugurated, we can see that many of us have grey hair, many of us have ailments, many of us on our last days, some of us can't even walk. You may not think that we're not well, but we're very unwell, many of us. And we're not sure how long it will be before we get to the next reunion. How long will it be? Another 10 years for the 50th anniversary? And how many of us will still be here? 80 years of age? I don't think so. I mean, I'll be 73 in 10 years. I mean, I'm 66, this is 65, so, but I can't even imagine, being bent over with a walking stick. I wouldn't want that agony. So from that point of view, we take note that these memories are a benchmark in history, in Vaishnava history. How Srila Prabhupada came with a briefcase or a trunk, an Indian trunk full of books with 30 Indian rupees, $60 equivalent, and kick-started Mahaprabhu's movement. So it is mystical. There's no doubt about it. It is supremely mystical how this movement evolved. We heard about Guru Kripa, how they were incarcerated by mafia. the police, the immigration. And in every country of the world, in Australia, the devotees were pounded. They were sidelined by the council. They had false allegations made against them. They wanted to put the boot in and stop the Hare Krishna movement. In Germany, the ex-Nazi regime was still in power in the police stations. They had conspired with fundamental Christians to raid the temple, to smash the temple walls, to find any shred of evidence to stop us preaching. There were all kinds of things in every country. We were smashed. But somehow or another, Srila Prabhupada's movement went on. And the devotees, because they had faith in Srila Prabhupada, we continued. What to speak of the Soviet bloc, the Eastern Bloc countries, where devotees lost their lives and their children in some cases. We were persecuted like no other contemporary religion. We weren't exactly fed to the lions, but we had many dirty tricks played against us. So that's why these meetings are very important to be recorded, so that it can be told in the future, and the new devotees, the new breed of devotees, can understand what it took. Just like I find it very unusual. Ridha Prabhu came here around the quincentennial time, 500th anniversary of Mahaprabhu, and he started single-handedly and went round the clock on his own for 24 years. And he set a very good example when money was very tight, but he became financially independent. And eventually my son, Gopal, after he passed away, took on the responsibility. And today it's a very, very good project, that 24-hour kirtan. Because actually, Prabhupada wanted that 24-hour kirtan program, but it was diminished after some time. And they were just playing a tape recorder. So we can see the austerities. Hello, hello. Hare Krishna. Five minutes. No sound.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So it's 5 minutes before the grand photograph is going to be taken. But we can see through all trials and troubles where Srila Prabhupada disciples had persevered here. And some of my realizations are in that memorial book that Daiva Shakti gave out to all of us. And I distinctly remember on the opening of Krishna Balaram Mandir, on this particular day, we had a grand Prashadam feast, and all the patrons, all the people that had helped, the Prabhupada disciples and all the life members were there. And when everybody had eaten their Prashadam, there was one brahmachari that was serving everybody, and he was also serving the servers. And I'm not even sure if he received any prasadam. His name was Ganeshan Bhaktitirtha Swami, came to do. So in the mood of Krishna Balaram, he was serving all the assembled Vaishnavas. We try to remember our God brothers and sisters at this day. Thank you very much, and Hare Krishna.